Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing a full review and demo on the new Colourpop No Filter collection. So I purchased the No Filter foundation. So this is $12 and it comes in 42 shades, which is amazing. The shade range is amazing. I'm in the color medium 90 and you'll be able to see that color obviously more closely when we get to the demo. But it says that it's a neutral foundation with golden undertones for medium skin tones. I got the No Filter concealer. This is not new. I think they just kind of did a relaunch with it when the foundation came out. This is $6, which is amazing, and it comes in 30 shades, which is so crazy for a concealer. So I will say props to Colourpop on their color selections because that's insane. And I got the color Light 18. I also got the No Filter setting powder. This is the loose setting powder. I got the color Translucent. This is $9 and it comes in 3 shades. And finally, I got the No Filter Sheer Pressed powder. This is also $9. I got the shade Medium and it comes in 6 shades. So I'm gonna be trying all, got a hair. Ugh, I can't stand that feeling. I'm going to be trying all of the products except for this translucent powder, which I'll talk about at the end of the video, only because I wasn't going to use 2 powders and I decided to use the pressed in the video. But the main basis of the collection is it's called No Filter. So it's basically saying it's going to give you skin that requires no filters. A foundation, from what I can see, does not have alcohol or fragrance in it, which is a plus in my book for sure. And it says it's developed for the selfie age. It claims to be full coverage, natural matte finish that delivers flawless looking skin for day to night. It's oil free. It's a lightweight formula, blends smoothly, and is easily customizable to create the coverage you want. Build it up or sheer it out. Sounds ideal. The concealer also claims to have a matte finish, and it says it has blurring pigments in it as well, which is obviously what you want for an under eye in your concealer. And then really the difference between the loose powder and pressed powder is obviously the formulation of it being loose and pressed, and also that there are more shades, about twice as many shades in the pressed as there are this, and it I think gives a little bit of coverage to the face. So the foundation, really quick, is a standard glass bottle. It has stars all over it. It does come with a pump, but it does not come with a cap. The pump does twist, so you are able to lock if you do travel and or tend to get things everywhere. The concealer is the standard regular doe foot applicator. Not sure, I'd have to look up how much is in the concealer, but it looks about average. The foundation is a 0.85 fluid ounces versus the typical 1 ounce, but again, you're only paying $12 for it. And the translucent powder, while it looks small, still has 8.5 grams, which is on par with some of the much more expensive powders. Same goes for the pressed powder. So go ahead and get into the demo. If you want to see how this works and performs and hear my final thoughts of it at the end of the day when I do my final check-in, then just keep on watching. All right, let's go ahead and get into the application. I'm going to zoom y'all in a little bit. And today I'm not going to wear primer because I want you to see how it works on a completely bare face. So I do need to color correct. So let me do that real quick. Okay, so now let's get into the foundation. So like I probably already said, I'm in the color medium 90, and it does have this little pump which does lock. However, there is no top, so, and it gets kind of messy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pump out 1 pump and show you the color and the consistency, but you can see it is very liquidy. I was not expecting this when I first tried it. I thought it was going to be more of, I don't know, a thicker foundation. I don't know why. But I'm going to take a couple of drops, or a couple of fingers worth, and I'm going to use my Sigma F80 brush, and I'm going to start stippling that on because I want to show you how far this foundation goes. You can see that covered a good bit. I'm going to do, well, let me show you before I do the other side. So this has the foundation, this doesn't. You can see my redness right here that need to be evened out. I can see a tiny bit of redness still right there, but otherwise it covered it up pretty well. I probably will need to go back over my chin. Makeup on my finger. Oh well, it looks dirty, but it's just makeup. So this color in particular is pretty warm, and it does pull a little yellow when I first apply it. It does even out though. Okay, so on this side, I still see a little bit more redness there. We're gonna go back in and touch up that. Let's do our forehead real quick. I'm gonna touch up a little bit on the chin. Touch up around my eyebrows. It's hard to get that close with the big brush. All right, now I'm just gonna take a beauty blender, which this is what I do on most foundations, and just kind of pat it in. And then I will look and see if anything else needs some more coverage. I personally recommend everyone doing this no matter how much they think they have to cover, because this goes way makeup-y way fast. So I highly suggest just using one pump to start out with, and then going back over if you feel like you have anything else you want to cover. I don't feel like personally that redness is enough to want to cover more. And then once I have my blush and bronzer and stuff on, this isn't really gonna be that obvious either. So I'm gonna put a little bit, probably not even half a pump's worth, on my neck, because I've been using my retinol on my neck lately, and it is super exfoliated, and the sun doesn't really hit it anyways. I don't self-tan on it because I find that it kind of bunches up on my neck, so you need to put some foundation there. Okay, now I'm going to show, compared to the rest of my body, I find that this is a little bit light. So a lot of times I will go in with like a cream or a liquid bronzer to kind of warm it up, and I probably will today as well, but it's not going to affect the overall look of the foundation, so you'll still be able to see the final result, but I am just letting y'all know that it's just a little pasty looking on me. So let me do a close-up. Look in the mirror so I can see what you're seeing. Okay, yeah, so that was one pump. I feel like it's not super matte, but it definitely is a matte foundation. Like, I'm not seeing luminosity of any sort come through. And I would say it has a good, strong, medium coverage. I could build it up to be heavier, more full coverage on my redness, but keep in mind, the more I do build it up, the more makeup-y or cakey it does look on the skin. So let's try the concealer. I got the color Light 18. This concealer dries very quickly, so I recommend working one eye at a time. So I put not even half of what was on one side of the doe foot applicator, and I'm just working that under my eye and kind of down on my cheeks. So see, some of that redness that was peeking through right here is being covered up by the concealer. Another reason not to go full ham on your foundation right at the beginning, because you likely will be covering it up with other products anyhow. So I do color correct every day, but you can automatically see the difference between that eye and that eye. So this eye has the concealer and that eye just has the corrector. It's super full coverage, I feel like, and it maintains that coverage throughout the day. There is both eyes with the concealer on. I'm gonna see if I can get super up close. So I mean, before I set it, I will need to go back in. It's already, if you can see, settling into those lines. So I will need to go back in and most definitely kind of blot that area out with a Q-tip or a tissue. But right now, I feel like my face is super duper white. So I'm gonna warm it up with a little bit of the NARS Laguna drops. Right now, the concealer is not really doing any justice for my under eyes other than brightening them up and coverage. So we shall see. We're going to use the pressed powder in medium today, and that is what the color looks like. And I'm going to use my La Mer brush. I'm just going to pick some up and just lightly set the face. Okay, so this is what it looks like. I'm doing a lot of zooming in and out on this video, but this is what it looks like freshly powdered and set and applied. Right off the bat, my pores look pretty good. I can see makeup on my face. I think that's going to be a recurring theme through this video. So I'm going to finish the rest of my makeup and I'll come back to show you what it looks like with everything else on. Okay, so I have the rest of my makeup on. I did find the need to spray my face, and today I used the Color Science Hydrating Setting Mist. This was like a free gift with purchase on one of my last orders. I really like the way it smells too. Just because as I was applying my makeup, it looked a little cakey. Can I say it again? Let me zoom you in so you can see. I just feel like around here, it looks a little much, and I can't really use less than a pump because then I won't get the coverage that I want. So it's not that I overused the product, if that makes sense. So you can see that. In fact, I'm going to spray. Well, no, I just put mascara on. I'm not going to spray right now, but this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to spray my Beauty Blender with this mist. And just, whoa, do you hear that thunder? And just kind of press it on there. It's not happy outside. It didn't really do much. So, but as you can see, that's the close-up. And my under eyes, if you can see, are looking a little like they got a little too much concealer on them. I have tried it with less concealer. It's about the same effect. All right, so I am going to do a check-in on this one because I feel like it's important for you to see how it holds up throughout the day. So even though it's, goodness, 11:45, got a late start today, I am going to be running errands in this nasty weather, and I am working out this afternoon, so I will come back after that and show you how it held up throughout the day. Okay, I'm back for the check-in. It is currently 9:45, so it's been, what, 10 hours since I first applied, really like 10 and a half since I first actually applied the foundation, the concealer, and the powder. So I'm gonna do a close-up, and then I'm gonna go real quick, and I'm gonna do like a pros list and a cons list, and I'm gonna kind of let y'all make up your mind as to whether or not this is a good foundation, concealer, powder. So this is the foundation. I have not touched up my smile lines at all. It is just very minimally. That's accentuated by a black hair. Lovely. Now I don't feel like it's as noticeable, but it is. I mean, it's starting to sink in just a little bit on that side. You can see it's a little bit, isn't that so pretty? It's starting to cake up, or it has caked up quite a bit on the sides of my nose. And while my pores still don't look big, I do want to point out, let me see how close I can get here. I do want to point out this area where my pores are. While my pores aren't accentuated, I do feel like the makeup is. So that's going to be on my cons list, but I just want y'all to notice that. And it really is caking up more on this side than it is on this side. It pretty much has stayed on otherwise. Like, I don't feel like it's patched off or anything. And what is that? How does a piece of mascara get in your hair? I do find that on my forehead, where I sweat the most when I work out and where my foundation will come off first, it is actually stayed put very well up there. So to give you a quick rundown of my pros and cons, let's start with the foundation. The pros are that it does not transfer. It does not come off. It lasts really well through heat, humidity, rain. It was pouring today, and I got outside and I did get rain quite a bit on my face. Working out, it really does hold up well. Another pro is that from far away, I feel like it looks flawless. Like, I'll walk by a mirror and I'll be like, wow, man, my foundation looks really good. But then we start with the cons, and that is that when I get up close, as the day goes on, I just feel like it really does look like makeup. Like, it just, in places, starts to cake up. And like I said, it's not because I'm using too much, because really and truly, I used one pump on my entire face. And as I said before, if I were to use less than one pump, I wouldn't get the coverage I desired. And so what's the point if that makes sense. And really the only other con is that I had to go back and check the ingredients after the first day I wore this, because it feels like a very heavily alcohol-based foundation on my skin. Even though it doesn't, I didn't see alcohol in the ingredient list, it feels that way. It's very tight on my skin and almost feels drying. And it's just not a comfortable feeling. I like to feel moisturized and a little bit dewy, and it's just something I feel like I'm constantly having to like spray my face throughout the day with some kind of hydrating mist to kind of take that feeling away. That's a big con to me, because I mean, I don't have to wear makeup. Nobody has to wear makeup. It's a choice we make, and really you don't want to choose to be uncomfortable on your face. So it's kind of even. It's because of that, it's not my absolute favorite, because I want my skin to look like skin as much as possible. I don't really want it to look like makeup. But as far as like pictures, I think it would be absolutely beautiful, because really and truly it's flawless from far away. And I feel like, because I wore it in my June beauty favorites video, and I got so many compliments on my makeup in that, and I feel like for filming it looks really good too. So I hope what I'm saying is actually coming across. But for those purposes, like pictures and filming, I think it's absolutely gorgeous, especially for that price point. But otherwise, for like an everyday foundation, it's really not for me. The concealer, I will say it's similar. I know I've heard a lot of people compare it to Shape Tape. It's similar in coverage and consistency. However, I find Shape Tape is a little less drying, which I never would have thought I would say that about Shape Tape, because it is a but it is a more drying formula than other concealers. I feel like this is just a tad bit more drying, and it tends to age my under eyes a little bit. It's not an awful concealer. It's just a little bit more drying than I go for. And I will say that it's one of the very few outside of my top 5 that does not give me, like, I call it little fish gills. I get little like lines going vertically right on the inner corner of my eye, and that it kind of crinkles up when I make expressions, and some concealers can tend to get in that and crease and just make them even more noticeable. And I feel like this one, I know this one does not do that. So outside of my top 5, it's one of the few that doesn't do that. So that's a pro. The coverage is a pro. And if you have oily skin, I think you'd like it. I just don't know that if you have mature or dry under eyes that you're going to like the concealer. As far as the powders, I like the pressed powder more than I like the translucent powder. I just feel like this one made my foundation even lighter than it already was when I applied it. Because even though it says it's translucent, I just feel like it has a lighter tint to it that doesn't do well on top of foundation. I'm going to try it with some other foundations. I'm not giving up yet, but as far as for this foundation, I feel like that the pressed powder looks better because it is an actual colored powder, and I just feel like it's a little bit less heavy on the face, and the makeup looks a little bit less makeup-y throughout the day than it did when I had this on, even though it's kind of an issue with both powders. But I am, out of all of it, I'm probably the most happy with the pressed powder. And I do look forward to trying that with other foundations as well. So honestly, for the price point, it was fun trying it. I'm not sad that I did. And again, for filming purposes and for pictures, I will keep this foundation on rotation. But probably for anything else, I'm not going to be using it. The concealer will be, I'm going to try mixing it with some other concealers that maybe don't have as much coverage but have more hydration, and see if I can get like a good concoction out of it. And I will keep y'all informed if I can. And like I said, I'm kind of excited about trying the pressed powder with some other foundations as well. So hopefully you found this review helpful in some form or fashion. Again, they're so affordable that even if you do want to try them, you kind of take my review for what you will and still try them, especially since Colourpop has like, a lot of times they'll have like 20% off flash sales and stuff. So you can get that foundation for a little over $9. The concealer for like $4. So it's, you know, it's like if you don't like it, you don't like it. I don't even know Colourpop's return policy, but I would not even think about trying to return these. It's just not worth it, and I am still going to play with them. So again, hopefully you found this helpful. If not, I hope you at least found it entertaining. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day.